Hi guys. Sorry I'm late. I had a glitch because technology doesn't like me. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. Hi guys. I think I started talking before anybody was on, but I had a glitch, so that's why I'm starting late. But I am very excited to be joined by Allie. And I'm gonna see if she is on here. Not yet. Now she's on here. I don't know if you know, you have to request to be on, Allie. Or I request you. One of the two. Hi!
Oh my gosh!
What are you doing?
Look at your shirt. Ah, I'm obsessed. You look so cute.
I don't get many opportunities to wear it because I've worn it in public before and somebody asked me if I was Asian and I was like, no, but I support my Asian American Girl Club.
That is what it is all about. I love you so much. Oh my gosh.
How are you?
I'm good, just like taking every day as it comes. And
Yes.
I think I'm a professional video gamer now, which is very exciting.
What video games have you been playing?
I am all about Animal Crossing right now.
Okay. So Paul has been playing that too, and I need to
really?
understand the allure.
Yeah, it really is the most mundane things. Like I logged on and then it's instantly you're in debt. You have to pay off a loan for your home, and then the loans keep getting bigger and bigger. So you just owe this guy, Mr. Nook, like all this money all the time. So I don't know, but it's like weirdly
I just watched Paul playing it and I'm like, this looks like a children's game. And like he's like, my shovel broke, and I'm like, what does that even mean?
I need to have a conversation. He needs to come visit my island. I'll visit.
Yeah. I'll text you Paul's island so you guys can visit each other. But how is everything else? You're in LA, right?
Yep, I'm in LA. Let me show you this project I've been working on for a while. I wanted to show you. This is my project I've been working on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
The whole thing
is that brownies?
Have one square left, so I'm really doing well on that.
Now, when did you make those? Is the real question. When did you make those?
Probably like 2 days ago.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you. I've been making a different baked good probably every 2 days because within 2 days they're already gone.
But see, the thing is how do you have all the ingredients? I just make brownies
because I have a problem. I have a problem that in the past when I've gone to the grocery store, I'm like, oh, I don't have flour. And then so I have like 4 bags of flour because I can't seem to remember that I already bought it.
So you were ready for this.
I was. I like have all of my freezer food that I got from Trader Joe's a while back that's still keeping me warm. So
Trav spent a whole day. He has like a vacuum sealing device, and he spent like 7 hours just like making veggies and then vacuum sealing them. It's like, what is life right now? I have no idea. So we have all
That's incredible. I need that.
Yeah, you guys should get it. We're now like full on harvester of vegetables.
Oh my goodness. I know I've been thinking, I'm like, maybe I need to get a garden. Like maybe this is the time where I start a garden. Not that I have a green thumb or anything, but
I'm like, can we order all the stuff on? I think we can, right? I don't know.
Insane. So you were working on something in Montreal as well when we got shut down,
yeah, because
right?
you and I were supposed to have dinner in Montreal, and then
well, I was beside myself when I was like, I saw you like posted something and you tagged yourself in Montreal, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Is this girl in Montreal and she didn't call me? Because I've been here for 6 months waiting for people to show up.
But not only that, but you've been there for like years, right?
Yeah.
But I had no idea this whole time that you guys shot the Bold Type in Montreal. I had no I think I just missed that memo.
And sometimes I forget that the show is supposed to be set in New York because we shoot it in Montreal.
Oh,
Like when I watch the show and there are all of these like outdoor shots that they got in New York, I'm like,
yeah.
oh, right. This is a New York show. That makes sense.
I'm just obsessed with Montreal. Like from what
It's unbelievable. The
even though
food
it's
is
crazy.
unreal.
Yeah, I need your recommendations because I didn't have any time to really explore the food scene, but all I know is that it's amazing.
So do you think that you'll go back when all of this is?
Well, I hope so. I mean, we were about 2 weeks away from finishing, and then like I was supposed to go back right when it all hit, and so I hope so.
Yeah, I was in LA, and then I was supposed to do press in LA. I flew there Wednesday. Thursday, all of my press got canceled.
Ugh.
I think it was like March 11th, March 12th. All of my press got canceled. Production called and they were like, we need you on a plane back to Montreal just in case borders shut or whatever. I land in Montreal and I'm going through customs when I get the phone call that they're like, we have to stop production. And we were
No.
10 days away from finishing.
Oh my God. Wait, so you had to go right back?
Yeah, so then I went to my apartment and I had to pack up literally my 6 months of my life
Oh my
and
God.
fly home the very next day. So in the span
No.
of like 3 days, I was in, because there's no direct flight to Nashville. So I was in like 4 airports within the span of
What?
3 days. Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
crazy.
gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's insane. So my whole thing was, you know, that week where it was like we were starting to hear about it here, and people were like, just don't go to big gatherings. So we were kind of in the beginning of it. So that week I basically canceled everything on my schedule, and the only thing that I did was I was like, I need to go visit my friend because I was going to be in this certain area. And so I didn't do anything else that week. I went to go visit one friend for 1 hour, and then I left and went home, and the next day he was like, I don't feel that well. And then the next day, and then he ended up having corona. I think yeah. And I was like, what? The one person I saw, because I was pretty much we were already kind of like socially distancing. And so it was weird to see firsthand just kind of that person experience this and what they went through. And
That's so crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's just so wild.
it's so scary. And I just, you know, and I never showed any symptoms. So I hope that, I mean, I don't know, but I guess I could have been asymptomatic, but I
I
don't.
know. Well, and there's so many people, like there was a lot of like flu-like symptoms kind of going around the
Yeah.
Bold Type set, like in, I want to say it was like in January when we came back to like after Christmas break and
Mhm.
stuff, end of January, early February, like I got really sick.
Me
And it
too.
was right after our hairstylist had been really sick and she had like fever, chills, the whole thing.
What?
I only had like sore throat and stuff like that. But part of me wonders,
If
were
you were,
some people having coronavirus symptoms like earlier in the year?
we'll see. And every time I would fly back from Montreal to LA, that flight, every time I would get sick. So I think I was already sick twice in January. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Is your friend okay though?
Yeah, totally
Good.
recovered. And it was pretty gnarly though for him. So, I mean, I don't know. I hope that, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apparently there's supposed to be tests that are coming out or have come out. I
Yeah,
don't really, I have been staying away from the news as best I can.
I know.
But apparently there's supposed to be tests that will tell you if you've had it.
Yeah, the antibody test, right?
My brother goes, that's because Air Canada is the worst.
Oh my God.
Ryan.
I love your brother. Killing it. In all
Yeah.
the musicals and everything.
Yes.
How's it
And
your
he
whole
is on The Bold Type.
Mm?
He's in those last 2 episodes that we were shooting.
What? Who does he play?
He's he's a new character that's introduced in the last 2 episodes.
Oh
But
my god.
yeah, but we didn't get to finish the episodes, so we're just kind of hoping that if we can't go back soon, that if we get a season 5, we would go back, finish those last 2, air those last 2, and then have another season. But
Okay.
yeah,
My worry
he's
is
so
that,
great.
and I don't know if this is the same for your show, but what we were shooting has children in it. And I'm just like, I don't know. Kids change appearance so quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're going
I
to
mean,
switch to another.
hopefully they don't change appearance too much in like 6 months.
Yeah, I know.
Unless they're like, I feel like 12, 13 is when that happens very quickly.
Yeah. Well,
But
they're
also like
little
even 7 and
babies.
8-year-olds, because I see my nephews and I'm like, you're an adult.
Right?
That's
Every
gotta
day
stop.
Giving your brother a shout, humble brag, giving your brother a shout out. I love it.
Yeah. But also you're engaged.
Yes.
Let me see that ring, girl.
It's so weird. I still feel like when you guys first got engaged, when you put it on, was it just so weird? I'm like, wait, I'm gonna wear this all the time now? Like,
oh yeah. I just remember after it happened, I just like kind of held it in front of my face for a little while and I was like, that's real.
yeah,
That happened.
it's a very surreal experience. And I talked to a lot of like girl, I think I even talked to you about it. I'm like, it wasn't kind of how I expected it. I think there's a period where your whole body and mind is in shock. I don't know if you went through that, but
I did.
couldn't really, like, I felt like I blacked out, and then people already start to ask you about it, and you're not even there yet, and everyone wants to know what happened, and you're
Well,
still
it's like
processing it.
it's when you're just dating, everybody's asking you when you're gonna get engaged, and then when you get engaged, everybody's asking you when you're gonna get married, and then after you get married, it takes about 1 week for people to start asking you when you're gonna have a baby.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I just got married. Give me a few years. Thank you.
Your wedding looked amazing. Ugh.
But I need to know, because we haven't talked in depth, obviously. Like, I texted you and was screaming audibly, but
I love you.
You never told me how it happened.
It was amazing and wonderful, and the most like packed day of my life, I would say, because it was a surprise at the very, very, very end of the premiere of Toy Story 4. Which, and like premiere day.
It was at the premiere?
It was not at the premiere. It was like at the very, very end after the premiere. So it was a total shock.
The best day of your life?
Yeah, kind of. And then, so basically we had the premiere, and then, we had this amazing outdoor party where they turned like Hollywood Boulevard into an outdoor carnival, which was.
I went to the premiere of Toy Story 3.
What?
And they had a whole carnival. Yeah, because Toy Story 3 came out when I was on American Idol like 10 years ago.
That's crazy.
And so we all got invited to go to the premiere, and they had that carnival in the back.
That's so. I need to interview you about your American Idol days, by the way. That'll be happening
another time. This is about you and your engagement, and then we're gonna get to Toy Story, because.
So basically, yeah, we had the outdoor carnival, and then my whole family's there, and then after, we're going back to the hotel, and I'm like exhausted at this point. I'm like, that's when you like take your heels off. You're holding the heels. I'm like sludging into and we had like a room at the Roosevelt because it was right there. And so we're going in. I'm like almost half asleep.
Also, what a romantic hotel.
Oh,
just saying.
It's so cute. And so we open the door to the room, and there's just rose petals all over the room. And in my head, the first thing I said was, wow, the concierge is like really killing it. Like, wow, they're really treating us well. I had no like even thought that maybe anything was going on. And then I walk in further to the room, and then I go into the bedroom, and there's like rose petals all over the bedroom. I was like, dang, the Roosevelt like really went in on like treating us with major hospitality. And I'm just looking at him, and he's just kind of still like, okay, she's not getting it. And then we walk into the other room, and then the whole room is filled with like balloons with my names, and we had like Toy Story toys all over, and like rose petals all over the floor. And there was like weirdly one like camera person there to take photos, and I was like, where is everybody? Like what's happening? Where's my family? Because they were supposed to come up and like hang out. And then he just basically like got on one knee in the middle of the room, and it was just the two of us. So it was.
Did you
so
sob?
I just, like I said, I think I was so in shock. Like, I think the first thing I said was like, no, like not in a no way of like, no, but like no way kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
how is this happening right in this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I was gonna sob when Paul asked me, but I literally just became breathless and couldn't breathe, and I kind of like hunched over in disbelief.
Yeah, totally. Me too. I think I was just like, like definitely like bending over and like huddled over into myself, kind of got really internal. And then he just basically gave this adorable little speech. And then we sat on the couch after and took photos. And it was amazing because I was wearing like a yellow.
I remember that suit. Yeah.
Which is amazing. And then he was wearing like a tan one. So these photos that we have are just us in like matching tuxedos. And I was like, that couldn't be more us. Like that was like the perfect moment that I wanted, was that it felt like us, because I just wanted the whole thing. Like, you know, we get to do all these fancy, cool things all the time, but like, we really are homebodies, and
Yeah.
we're really such dorks. And, you know, I didn't want to be all like super glammed or anything. I mean, even though I wanted to just feel very intimate. So
Yeah.
it was important. I think he knew that we didn't want a bunch of people around, which
Yeah.
well, it was like our own little moment.
Ah.
But then we went downstairs, and then my whole family was there, and they're like, we knew the whole time. And then we went to like the Disney Pixar crew, and they're like, we knew the whole time, and we were helping him plan it. So I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my gosh,
gosh.
Pixar helped me plan like our engagement. So
That is insane. Also, for those of you who don't know, Allie's fiance, Travis, is also an incredible singer and songwriter and
he is pretty good.
just the sweetest human being of all time. So
We're living like alternate lives, or the same lives, because do you guys have a studio in your house?
we do.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like
It's been really helpful with ADR, I have to say, because I've had to do ADR from home. And so Paul like helps me out with his like microphone setups and all of that. So it's been very, very helpful.
Yeah, it's true for voiceovers too. Even though like 5 minutes before this, he was just singing loudly, and I was like, hey, I'm about to talk to Katie.
Oh, tell him I love him and I miss him.
We love you guys.
So I need to know, because I've never gotten to ask, and it was so under wraps and so secret for so long, that you were Giggle McDimples. So I want to know, like, how did that audition come about? How did you find out that you got it? Like, what was that experience like? Because, you know, I'm a massive Disney fan, and so I literally was like, my friend is a Disney character. Like, my friend is an original Disney character.
I know, when it came out, when I was finally able to tell people, I was like, no, Katie's gonna like lose her mind. Like,
Oh yeah,
fall on the floor with excitement.
literally, like I went to Disney, and like your character was a stuffed animal that I was seeing everywhere, and I was like, that's my friend. That's my friend.
You guys were one of the first people to text me when you went to the movies to see it, and you were just like crying.
I was beside myself. Like, your voice came out of the cartoon, and I was like, it was a mess.
I love it. I mean, that whole thing was a total shock too, because basically one day out of nowhere, my agent got a call and says, oh yeah, I think they asked if you could be in this movie. And I was like, what movie? And they're like, Oh, Toy Story 4. And the way he said it was just so casual. I think because at that time we thought, oh yeah, maybe I'll have like one or two lines. It wasn't kind of said in a way that was very like, whoa, this is gonna be a big
Wait,
thing.
so you didn't even have to audition?
I didn't, girl, when I'm telling you this came out of nowhere, it was basically just like one random day. And so at that point I was like, okay, cool.
This is the
Like the way
greatest thing I've ever heard. This is literally my life dream. So this is great because I'm like, it's possible.
it will happen, I promise. Yeah, so basically like they're like, oh yeah, we think you're gonna like play this character in it. And so the way it was said to me was just so nonchalant that I was like thinking, oh, maybe I'll have like one or two lines, which again I would already be excited. And then so the next day I got a big box from Pixar, and I opened it. It was just filled with DVDs, and like it was like a Pixar hat, and then they gave me this like black notebook, and in it I have it framed in my office. There was a letter with like with the Incredibles on the top, and it was like, dear Miss Maki, we would love for you to be in this little film we're making called Toy Story 4. And it was like a very official, like old school letter from Jonas Rivera, who like basically he's like one of the heads of Pixar right now. And behind it was like all these kind of like preliminary drawings from the film, like the antique shop, and then it had like all these little things of Giggle McDimples, like early drawings. And at that time, she was in this like little purple dress and had a little bow, so she was very girly, but still had the same personality of being like feisty and Bo's best friend. So I'm looking through these drawings, I was like, I think maybe like she might actually be a character. So then the next day, I hopped on a phone call with the director, Josh Cooley, and Jonas Rivera. And I basically asked them, I was like, what's happening? And I was like, where did you guys find me? Like, I don't understand. They're like, oh, we found you on YouTube. I was like, excuse me? They're like, yeah, we saw this random video that you made, and we just saw it, and we're like, oh, that's the girl. And I was like, excuse me? And so this video, I had made this parody of the Vogue 723 Questions video,
Yeah.
through the lens of how I saw it as this kind of like imperfect girl who's just failing at life. And they're like, yeah, our casting department saw that, and they sent it to us, and we loved it. And we were just like, no, that's Giggle McDimples. So I always say to people, like, make your own content, because that video I basically just made on a weekend with my dog and my nephew, like with no budget, just for fun. And it had like barely any views, but someone at Pixar saw it, which again,
This is like literally the Hollywood story, you know?
yeah,
Like I was just like found. Somebody just found me.
it's so random.
Yeah.
I still don't understand it, but I mean, at that point, it made me feel like, what roles are meant for you will come to you, and they'll find a way to you, and it's really cool.
Well, at the same time, you have been in this industry. Oh, hi, Winnie. Come here. Come say hi. Winnie, come here. Come here.
Puppy! Oh my gosh, your dog looks like my dog, kind
Where's
of.
Bear Dog?
I don't know. I think he's playing video games with Trap.
Oh, nice.
They're playing Madden. I think.
Well, what I was saying was, it's not like you were just found on the street with no prior experience. You've been in this industry for a very long time, paying your dues, working really hard. Like, we were all, what was it, like 10 years ago when we were all just like sitting together and we were in acting class and we were all kind of unemployed, being like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And then it's just like so incredible to just, oh, hi, Winnie. Are you breathing into the phone? It's just so incredible to see that, hard work pays off. And even though, you're going from job to job and you're like, what is going to be my thing? That thing does find you, like you're saying.
Yeah. It's so true. And it really is in the way that you would never kind of see it happening. Like if I could flash forward and be like, this was going to be my life, it's so different than that, but just so much better than I could have even imagined, you know? So I think if you just continue to like live your passion and make things from the heart and make things that are true to you, I think that's kind of the best way to go. So.
And can I tell you, it's the most surreal thing to like see videos of you with Tom Hanks and Keanu Reeves. And I'm just like, What is life?
Same. And that video, I just gone to go record that day, and they're like, oh yeah, come in, yeah. They're like, make yourself at home. Like, you know, Tom's just gonna come down the stairs. And I was like, Tom, I don't remember like a Tom and all of them, because you know we recorded for 2.5 years, like off and on. Like every few months I would go in, and I was like, I don't remember any Tom on the crew. I was like, oh no, I'm like, you know, you can't remember Tom. And then they're like, no, Hanks. And I was like, cool. So he's here right now. And before I could even do anything, you just hear him coming down there. He's like, hey, how are you? And so I didn't even.
I literally just lost my breath for a second. I can't breathe.
I'm living the life that I'm just doing this for you, Katie. I'm doing all of these.
Literally, I'm just like, I'm experiencing this through you. It's the best thing of my life.
It's so fun though. I was just so happy that I got to meet him in that way, because you know with voiceovers you're just recording by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm always so interested in voiceover. You know, like I've watched so many documentaries. Like there's that documentary, I Know That Voice, and you know, as somebody like Giggle McDimples was your voice. Like there's not really, you weren't really like putting on a voice. So like, what is that like? Because I do voiceover auditions all the time, and I'm like, I'm not very good at like coming up with voices or like creating something out of nothing in that way. So I'm like, hopefully something will find me that requires whatever I have going on with my voice already. But what was your experience? Because had you done voiceover before? Was it kind of like your first experience with it?
Actually, when I was 6 years old, my first ever job was doing voices for CD-ROM games. Which, so it'd be like you go in and it'd be like the voice that, you know, like hop forward 5 times, like step back. So I was like, I did that as a kid, which I think kind of was where my love started for doing voices and just voiceovers in general. But for this one specifically, it was really awesome because Pixar very much tries to cast authentically. Like they say that's why they do these searches, and they try to actually just find the person that can be themselves, that is kind of authentically the character, which is awesome. But the first time I went into the booth, I said to them, I was like, do you guys want me to do any kind of voice or anything? They're like, no, nothing. They're like, we just want you to be yourself, which at that point I was not nervous anymore. I felt so free to kind of, because I was like, her name is Giggle, she's got to have this amazing laugh, right? And they're like, well, we just want you to laugh as yourself. Like, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So then the giggles,
Well, you also have the cutest laugh on the planet. So
what's funny about that is my laugh is something I've always been embarrassed about, because I give it 100%. Like there is no kind of in between. And so it's funny that sometimes the things you're embarrassed about or think are stupid or weird are the things that, you know, make you special, which is cool. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I very much embrace my laugh.
And now what did you find? Because I imagine, you know, I went to like one of the first voiceover auditions I ever did was actually an incredible experience, because I went to Disney and it was for some like TV show cartoon.
Yeah.
And normally when you do voiceover auditions, it's like you're in your closet doing it in your phone and like that's what it is. But I actually got to like go in and do it, and one of the people, it was my first ever voiceover audition, and one of the people that was there for the audition, they were like, so what we want you to think about is the fact that like you have to act and convey your facial expressions solely through your voice. Yeah. Which I was like, that's incredibly difficult to like think about. So what was your experience of doing that? Like, were they helping you throughout the whole thing in terms of doing that?
Well, I think the thing I love about voiceover, and like you, I had to kind of learn how to discover, you know, just like with on camera acting, you kind of have to figure out what your process is and vibe and everything. But what's so fun about with the Toy Story one, and a lot of voiceovers is it really kind of takes me back to my initial love of performing and why I love to perform, because there is no hair or makeup. You can be in sweatpants. So really all you have is just your voice and the choices you make. So with Toy Story, you know, they would pull out these secret files where there's only one copy because it was so confidential. So I was not seeing anything before. I never had any prior knowledge of anything. So they would take it out of this like secret vault and be like, scene 5, right? And they put it up on my stand. And at that point, our director, Josh Cooley, would walk me through it and be like, okay, now Woody's coming in, right? And like, you guys just left the carnival, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, and then go, right? So you have 30 seconds to make a choice, which at first I thought was very challenging, but looking back, I realized it was the most amazing experience because, you know, it really just forces you to make a strong choice in a second, which I think is great because I can kind of overanalyze things, which I think kind of you get in your head after a while, or you start to think about how you look or whatever. But I love this because it's like the most pure kind of art form, which.
And that's like what my voiceover agent is always like, your first 2 takes are going to be your best takes, because then after that you're going to hear that, you know, you're overthinking it, or, you know, but that's so easy to do when, you know, it's like, I always say, I mean, acting is incredibly difficult in and of itself, but then to be seeing yourself on screen and seeing like every angle of yourself, every, you know, your voice. It's like people are like, I hate hearing myself on a voicemail or on a voice recording or something. I'm like, imagine that times a million, but especially like if all you're using is your voice to convey something and to act, then that's all you have. So then you're listening back to it and you're like, oh, I don't know. Like I do that with voice auditions. I can't even imagine like when you're like, this is the thing, this is the final thing. So that's unbelievable. Well, and you were
is just like our director told me that you know, because we did record for 2.5 years, like off and on. He goes, about 78% of what was used in the film for Giggle was in the very first half hour of the very first session that we did.
Wow.
Which, to me, again, that just proves what we're talking about, is that initial, you know, kind of gut reaction or gut choices that you're making are the most authentic and true.
How hard was that for you to keep that secret for so long?
Girl, I mean, I didn't even think. Okay, here's what I equate it to. I always say, imagine if you had this imaginary friend for years that you talk to and you create and think is real. And then one day she's just on billboards everywhere and everybody knows about her. That's kind of what it felt like for me, just very surreal. Like my imaginary friend had finally come to life and everyone knew she existed.
That is incredible. And so I'm assuming like you didn't really see the movie until the final stages when everything came out, right?
Yeah, I saw like we had like a little screening, but it wasn't fully done. And then the kind of like first time I fully saw it was at the premiere, which was obviously I was a mess because it's just so emotional to see it all together, and the work that all of these people put in for, you know, I only worked on it for, you know, 2.5 years, but the animators and the creators, they put 6 to 7 plus years behind this film. So just all of their hard work coming to finally be able to see it was amazing.
Wow. That's, well, proud friend over here, because you killed it, and it's such an incredible story and such an incredible experience for you. So couldn't have happened to somebody better.
Oh, I love you.
I love you. So what is now ideally for you? What is next?
Well, we are doing that. I mean, we were in Montreal, which working on something really awesome. And again, I feel like my whole life is just NDA.
Secrets.
I'm like, this is no fun. Like, I can't tell anybody anything. How lame. But yeah, beyond that, I've been really, I think this has kind of just really shattered everything I thought about myself or thought about acting or thought about what was important to me. And it really just took me back to just the love of performing. So I'm trying to just write a bit more. I want to develop some stuff. So yeah, I think I want to do a lot more of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the one thing that this quarantine has given me. It's taken me about 4 weeks. Like I'm finally in this place where I'm feeling creative again. And, you know, Paul and I are writing music, and I'm like reading
Yes.
books that I'm like thinking about getting the rights to like create stuff. And so it's like I'm like I have so many dreams of things that I want to be a part of
Hmm.
that I'm tired of waiting for someone to like
Yeah.
write something that I see fit, and I just want to kind of
Hmm.
come across something and like be there from the beginning stages and, you know,
Yeah.
see what can come of it.
No, that's totally true. And I think one of the greatest moments that I had in the last couple of years was I went for this meeting and I was telling this executive like all of these ideas I had. I was like, I wish there was something like this, and you know, I really would like to do something like this or whatever. And she literally looked me dead in the eyes and she goes, "You are the girl. Why don't you see that?" And I go, "Me?" I was like, "I could never do this." She was, "No." She goes, "You are the girl to do what you're talking about." And I
Yeah.
think that moment it clicked because we always think, I think especially as actors, because we're always kind of fulfilling a job, you know, that we go into, which is awesome. But we kind of get in that headspace of like, oh no, like I'm just here to play this role. But
Yeah.
she really opened my eyes that like, no, 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 like no one else is going to be able to do these ideas the way that you are. So I think
Yeah.
that really empowered me to be like, okay, great, I need to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have an experience now, like being on the Bold Type and, you know, being on it for a couple years now and having relationships with the writers to where, you know, we give our ideas and they really listen to us and
Mm-hmm.
allow us to collaborate. And then, you know, on the production side of things, like talking with the producer and like learning from them and learning from the directors, like there are all of these things in place where even though I would never call myself a producer, like nobody could hand me something and I can like produce it, but like I feel like I have it in me to do it if I learn how.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And
Girl.
I'm like, I'm not going to be afraid of this, you know, I'm not going to be
Yeah.
afraid of wanting to do it because I can do
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think with this pandemic too, I've been realizing the main thing for me is to continue to challenge myself through it. And that's why I'm so appreciative that you've been asking me to do this, because it is still challenging me in a way, because throughout this, I can find myself becoming more inward because we're not seeing people and we're not having those connections. So I think doing stuff like this is so important, because continuing to like put myself out there and not be afraid and
Yeah,
continuing to be bold, the bold type. I
you
need
got
to
it
work.
in there. You got it in
I
there.
got it.
And now I want to talk a little bit about Asian American Girl Club. Like how did this come up? I mean, I know how it came about, but at the same time, you know, what really inspired you to want to kind of get this message out and all of the talk about all the like fun things that you guys are doing?
Yeah.
I have a
Um,
really needy dog, so if she's like squeaking on my lap, just
I
don't
know.
mind her.
I'm shocked that Jesse is not here barking at me. Um,
Jessie
yeah, well,
bear.
Asian American Girl Club basically was started on the floor of my living room. It was just something that I couldn't get out of my head. That there was, you know, I feel like we've made amazing strides in representation in the last couple of years, especially with Crazy Rich Asians coming out. I think that really opened the door wide open for the Asian American community. But in my head, I was like, I really felt like, what more can we do? How can I, you know, what can I do to kind of push forward what, you know, I wanted? And I think the thing that I saw was I wanted there to be more unity with Asian American women specifically, because there's so many amazingly talented women that aren't being highlighted or don't feel confident enough to express their identity or, you know, who they are. So for me, that was kind of my passion. And it was really just like born on the floor of my living room. It was this idea that I had. And at like, I think it was 10 at night, Trav and my friend Amanda, they were like, just release it, Allie. Just like release a logo and see what happens. I was like, no, I can't. My perfectionism was like, it's not even anything. Like, people were like, what is this? And they were like, just do it. So at like 10:30 at night, I just released a logo and an Instagram. And the next morning, I swear to you, Katie, like our inbox is filled with messages from girls around the world, like our email. These girls are writing like dissertation style emails to us about what this meant to them, even though they had no idea what it was. Just to
Yeah.
see this exist meant the world to them, and they were writing to us their experiences. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think anyone else in the world would resonate with this. on such a deep level. And that was kind of where it began. And the shirts were really just for me, just this kind of handout, like let's be friends, you know, like
Yeah.
we got you kind of thing. And yeah, and then it just kind of started to spread, and it was just,
And
it's been,
you texted me and you were like, "Can I send you a shirt?" And I was like, "Yeah."
yes, that's awesome. I love you so much. I know. I was like,
I was gonna wear a sweatshirt, and then I was like, "Wait, no, I have to wear my t-shirt." Right?
but it is
Well,
cool.
and
It's just a
I mean, but
testament.
it is so true. Like, I mean, we talk about it like, you know, we've been talking about how like even on the Bold Type we need more Asian representation. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, there's always, I feel like there are these just like kind of tropes that people just cast Asian Americans and Asian people as like the friend or the like really uptight, bitchy
Yeah.
person. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's not true to my experience of any of my Asian friends. Like, everybody is complex just like anybody else. And so, why are we not allowing this representation? Winnie, I know, I'm upset about it too.
Just
She's
like I
barking
have
at
to see them.
something. I was talking about something important, Winnie. No, do not air bite at me.
Winnie,
Literally.
comic relief. Are you
What
so
are you
happy?
doing?
I'm the center of attention.
Literally.
She's like, this is about me, mom.
I'm like, don't get. Go. Go downstairs. Go downstairs. I'll be down in a second. We'll go on WALK. See, I can't even say the word because she just knows. But I am so proud of you for doing something that brings to light the need for that representation. Because even though it should be common sense, you know, I think that it's the time now to be
Yeah.
bold and to be loud, and you have the platform to do that and to speak out for people and to show people that it's also okay for them to speak out and to ask for what they want.
Yeah. No, you're so right. And the thing about it, I feel, is that I needed this the most. Like,
Yeah.
it has brought out my confidence and, you know, in a way that I never thought possible, because it is so important to like feel like you have that support of other people that just like really get you.
Yeah.
So now I can just like text, you know, some of my girlfriends, and I don't even have to explain a lot of the backstory. They just kind of get it because that
Yeah.
is their identity too, which is so awesome. It really has kind of made me believe what's possible for myself, because like you said, there was a time where I started to believe that what the roles in the media were saying I could be, that I was limited to just that.
Yeah.
And that kind of bled into my real life of thinking, oh, I'm not as important, or, you know, my story is not as important, or I'm just not as important. And that's really sad. And that's something
Yeah.
that I don't ever want, you know, other young girls to feel, because we, like you said, we are all valid and we are all important. So
Yeah. I mean, and it is really the time for, you know, we've done so many stories on the Bold Type about privilege, and you know, I'm somebody who was born with privilege, and you know, it's not my job to, you know, be a hero or anything. It's just my job to kind of step aside and allow people to have their moment, because I'll never know what it's like to grow up and not see myself represented on screen.
right, right.
Like, I've been privileged enough to always have that. So to be able to kind of see all of these movements happening of people finally getting their chances and finally getting their moments, is great. And I'm like down to
Amazing.
sport it and to step aside, and you know.
You're amazing, Katie. And like from day one, you're just always such a light, but I still stand by that you're one of the kindest humans I've met in this town. And that's, yeah. I
And you've
mean,
met a lot of people in the town, so
we've
thank
met a
you.
lot of Katie and I go way back, guys.
We
Remember
do
when
go
would,
way
like,
back.
we would like go to the club.
Oh no. Oh God, the clubbing days.
Who were we?
Now you couldn't pay me money to go to a club.
Oh no, 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 no. Can't even. I'm like a 10 p.m. type of girl now.
I never read. Like I'm just like that person that I'm like it's really hard for me to like dive into a book. But
Yeah,
I'm like at this point I'm like tired of watching TV. I'm tired of like
same.
sitting on the couch and I'm like what else can I do? What else can I do with my brain?
I
Oh,
know.
I could read.
Sometimes, do you ever feel like you've watched so much Netflix that your brain is just disintegrating?
Oh
I
yeah.
find that I need to turn it off and just stare at a wall for like 2 hours because
Yeah.
I'm just like I can't consume any more
I finally
shows.
had that moment the other day of sitting and being like, wow, I've like hit the I'm really bored. What am I gonna do for the next month
Yeah. Yep.
moment?
Hmm.
And then I finally am like, all right, I'm gonna be creative. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take a course online. I
Yeah.
bought some coloring books. I'm
Who are
redecorating
we?
rooms in my house. I'm just like, give me all of the to-dos.
Anything. Anything. I love that you're
Oh.
doing these. These are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I've been saying, because obviously there's so many people who are like, we're so tired of lives. People need to stop doing lives. And I'm like, I'm more so like doing it because I need the form of connection and
Yes.
I
Exactly.
need the reason to be able to like get up and put makeup
Mhm.
on and do my hair and feel good about myself. Because, like, if you
So,
just let me chill in my sweatpants and in my pajamas all day, I'm gonna do it, but it's also gonna make me feel like garbage.
right. No, you're so right.
So
Because
I'm
I've
like,
been back and forth too of like, I kind of want to do more lives too, but then you do feel like, do people even want this? But you're right. You're doing it for the right reasons because it is for you and to be able to tell the people, that want to hear it.
well, and it's also like I have so many people in my life who are so inspiring and who are so cool and who are doing good things in the world. And like,
Yeah.
there is so much on the news right now that's just so negative and
Yeah.
so dreary that it's like
Yeah.
I just want to like have fun conversations with my friends and
Yeah.
connect with people who follow me and hopefully you talking about Toy Story and about what you're doing that's great in the world inspires somebody else and
Yeah.
touches somebody else and brightens somebody's day and like that's the reason to do it. Oh, did I lose you? Are you there? Oh, there you are.
Sorry. My
Is
timer
somebody
went off
calling
telling
you?
me that I've been on the phone. I mean, that I've been on Instagram for too long.
I
Wow.
love that.
Um,
Well, I am continually inspired by you and love you so much. And I'm just so, so happy for all of the wonderful things happening for you in your life because you deserve them
Same to
so
you.
much.
I'm always a number one Katie fan for
And I'm
life.
a number one Allie fan.
Uh,
Also, I'm gonna be texting you because you and Travis have to join me and Paul's like virtual game nights.
oh yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
if you're
What have you
down,
guys been playing?
so we learned how to do Mafia via Zoom. So we've been playing Mafia games. We've been playing games on I think it's called some party
House party. Yeah, yeah,
house
yeah. Okay.
party.
Okay.
And I also have for nights where you want to have a drink or two or three, I have some drinking games that I've
I'm down for
discovered.
all of it.
Yes.
Okay.
So we will play. I don't want you to get in trouble with your timer on Instagram, so I won't keep you longer, but I love you so much and thank you
I
so
love
much for
you.
doing this.
Thank you for having me. I love you. Keep doing them.
Yes, I will. And you start doing them.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be asking you to return the favor so that I can
Done.
interview you.
Done. 100 times over.
Okay. I
I
love
love
you.
you. Thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, thanks
Mwah.
guys. Bye.
Bye.